Right. So continuing on the second part of PT's banking on your ignorance. So as I was kind of saying, obviously it was 15 minutes, so YouTube only allows the 15 minutes thing. So had to record the second section of what I was saying. So this is like the part two section. So continuing with the points of the things that we should do, all the functional things that need to be carried out by personal trainers, that clients should be looking at. So we're looking at one man's food is another man's poison. So food ratios, making sure that the foods that your clients are eating are the right ratios for them. So we spoke about, the examples of the Eskimos eating high ratios of proteins and fat. So, if you're not devising a diet that's specific for your clients, then you're not going to get the right results, because at the end of the day, no matter how hard you train the muscles themselves still need the right fuel. So like we said before, one man's food is another man's poison. So if you're not giving them the right fuel, then you're not going to get the best results out of them, because it doesn't really matter how good the quality of the food is. It doesn't matter how good the quality of the food is if the client isn't absorbing it. So, sometimes we see clients that, they bring in their food list or their shopping list, and they show that they have clean, organic food that they're eating and drinking lots of water every single day. And then you're thinking, well, if you're eating, or the client is thinking, well, if I'm eating well, why am I not, getting the results in terms of, losing my body weight? Or if you're trying to build mass, why are you not being able to build a mass? So a lot of this comes back to food ratios. You are what you eat, based on the fact that those foods are the right foods for you, and you are when you eat. So if you're eating, the best organic meal in the world 20 minutes before you go to sleep, your metabolic rate has slowed right down. So you're going to store all of that, carry it through to the next day. If you notice, you never do, if you're healthy, you don't do a number two at nighttime. You always do it in the daytime when your body's active and your body is eliminating. But your body starts to store at nighttime. So it's making sure that the client is eating the foods that the body can absorb properly in terms of proteins, fats, and carbohydrate ratio, and also making sure they are when they eat, so they eat at the same sort of time every single day to create a rhythm, and making sure they don't eat, no more than 2 hours before they go to sleep, so the body is actually still eliminating waste. So, if your personal trainers aren't doing this sort of stuff, then they don't either understand that sort of stuff, or they're not giving you the right, at the end of the day, it's the same thing. They're not giving you the right system that you need to get the results that you want when you're training in the gym. So the next point was, when it comes to functional exercise, we spoke about, tonic muscles and phasic muscles. So, you also have to look at open and closed chain. So it's like, open chain and closed chain, so, some people don't know what they are. I mean, many people do. You might be one of those people that do know what that is. But as an example, if you're training a golfer, their legs are on solid ground. That's closed chain. But their arms through the swing are moving through an open chain, because the force they're generating moves the object. That's the open chain for the upper body and the closed chain for the lower body. So just to give you another example of this, if you wanted to work the chest muscles, a closed chain exercise for the chest muscles would be press-ups, because the force you're generating, doesn't matter how hard you generate force, the ground doesn't go anywhere. So that's a closed chain. So you're generating force against a closed surface. An open chain version of that would be like a dumbbell press, because the force you're generating pushes the dumbbells away from you. So if you were training a golfer and you just had them on machines all day long, that's wrong, because they need closed chain exercises for their legs, and machines don't do closed chain, they do open chain only, and open chain exercises for the upper body. So if they went to your gym, you didn't do an assessment of them, you didn't even have a look at their sport, then you wouldn't be training them properly. You'd be training them, but not training them specifically for their sport. So, Czech practitioners and other high-level conditioned athletes actually train people specific to their sport. So, this is something that you have to look at. I mean, even if you're not training someone who's in sport, you might be training somebody who has a specific job, and that job requires open or closed chain, such as a delivery man. They're constantly lifting objects, so they need to have very strong abdominal muscles, very strong hamstrings, because they're going to be lowering weight, such as a box or some form of parcel and then raising it. So you need to be doing things like deadlifts, specifically training that system, because that's a system we're going to be using a lot. You're going to have to be doing a pull-in system because they're going to be pulling things towards themselves, and pushing system because they're going to be pushing it as they load things. So, you know, you have to train people specific to their program or to their need. You know, it's called needs analysis. So, you know, this is something that needs to be done as well. Again, just checking from my list to make sure I haven't missed anything. So, I mean, you know, and, you know, that's basically it, you know, making sure that all these sort of things are done. And you have to ask yourself, are these people doing it? You know, and then we've got, you know, the buzzword, the core, yeah. And the thing is, a lot of people don't even know what the core is. You know, I see people saying, yeah, I'm doing core exercises, and then they show me a sit-up. Come on, please. When do you need stability? On your back? You don't need stability on your back, so why are you doing core on your back? You need to, you know, and at the end of the day, the core isn't just the abdominals. You know, that's just such a myth, you know, perpetuated by people that don't know enough about exercise. You know, the core is everything that needs to be stabilized first. So the head, the axial spine, the shoulder girdle, the pelvic girdle, and the abdominal wall are all the core. The only thing that isn't the core are what we call the appendages, which is the arms and legs. Because when you're moving, the core is central and the arms and legs are moving. Yeah, they're moving parts. So if you imagine a wheel, you've got a little hub, and then you've got the wheel that goes around it. So the hub is the center, that's the core. Because the core means center as well. So the core is the hub, and then the wheel moves around. Yeah, motion moving around the center. So the core is everything except the arms and legs. But a lot of people don't know this. So, you know, you go to gyms and see people saying, yeah, we're working our core, we're doing sit-ups. If you want to work your core, your foundation is when you're standing, yeah, because that's when you need to stabilize. You do not need to stabilize on your back. How do you need to stabilize on your back? You're on the ground already. The core is to stop you from falling over. So if you've already fallen over, why do you need your core? You're on your back. So, you know, sit-ups are pretty much useless. You know, like you know, Paul Jack says, you know, the only time you need sit-ups is to get up out of bed. You know, that's the only functional requirement, really. I mean, the only sport that kind of comes close to that is rowing. You know, where they're flexing, they're trying to fall backwards. So, you know, that's the only time you really need that. So, but even then, because they're using the oars, they're getting rotation into it anyway. So, you know, and they're sitting upright. You know, they're in an upright position pretty much the whole time. So you have to have a look at what the client needs and do an assessment based on their needs, not just on, I want to work my chest. You have to have a look at everything else. So guys, make sure you're looking at all of these points from part 1 and also this video part 2. Hopefully this helps you guys out. I'm going to be trying to load up different subject matters every couple of weeks on YouTube. Again, check me out at warrenwilliamscoaching.com. You can send me emails or questions and stuff like that as well. Alright guys, well, thanks for listening. I'll see you soon.